Hi, guys and gals. We're taking a look at Lesson 11. This is Module 2. And I'm looking in my math book at, let me turn to my page here. We're looking at page 100, I want to say 113 in my math book. Let me make sure this is the same copy. It should be the same copy. And it starts out with an exploratory challenge. We're working on fraction multiplication and products of decimals. And anytime I see that word products, I know that I'm multiplying. And the exploratory challenge says you not only need to solve each problem, but your groups, I don't know if we're working in groups because of COVID, also need to prove to the class that the decimal and the product and the answer is located in the correct place. As a group, you're expected to present your informal proof to the class. So on A, we're looking at calculating 34 and 62 hundredths, and put decimal a little bit bigger. And then I've got 12 and 8 tenths. So I'm going to go ahead and I could do my estimation. So if I did my estimation over here, I would round 34 and 62 hundredths probably to 35. And 12 and 8 tenths, I would probably round that to 13. So I'm just going to do a little check problem over here. So 15, there's 10, put my placeholder down. I've got 5, I've got 3, 4, 55. Okay, so now I'm going to go over here and just check my work. There's 16, 49. 32 and 4 is 6, 3, there's 24, 27. So I'm done with my 8, put my placeholder. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 6 is 12, there's 9, and there's 6. 2 placeholders down because I'm now over with a 1. 1 times 2, 1 times 6, 1 times 4, 1 times 3, 6, there's 13, 11, 8, 17, 3, 23. There's 10, and 2 and 2 is 14, and 4. And I have 1, 2, 3 digits behind the decimal. So my final answer in finding the product is 443 and 136 thousandths. But I could also, let's see, I could write out, let me just choose a different color. Let me go red. I could also choose to write my fractions as 34 and 62 hundredths. And then I am multiplying that by 12 and 8 tenths. Okay. So then I'm going to go 100 times 34 plus 62 is 3,462 hundredths times, so there's 120 and then plus 8, 128 tenths. So therefore I have my large improper fractions, and then all I'm going to do is go 100 times 10 is 1,000. Okay. Then I have 3,462 times 128, which I just did, and that gives me 443,136, right? And then because that denominator has 3 zeros in it, the last digit should be in the thousandths place when writing that fraction as a decimal. So therefore, our final answer would be what we just came up with, 443. But remember, I'm going to take those 3, 1, 2, 3, and I put a decimal right here. 136. So I showed you a couple ways that we could do that. So let's look at the next problem, which says Xavier earns $11.50 per hour working at the nearby grocery store. Well, last week he worked for 13 and a half hours, or 13 and 5/10 hours. How much money did Xavier earn last week? Remember, we are rounding to the nearest penny, which means the 100th place when we're rounding. Okay, so we would write down 11 and 5/10 or 50 hundredths times how many hours? It was 13 and 5/10. I'm going to do a little estimation over here, a little rounding to see if I'm close. So 1150 would round to 12. And 1350 would round to 14. So just to multiply those out, I get 8, 4, 2, 1, 168. So I'm going to get something close to 168. Well, in using fractions, I mean, I can go ahead and do the multiplication, but in using fractions, I have 11 and 5/10. And then I'm going to multiply that by 13 and 5/10. Okay, now I'm going to change those to improper fractions. So 10 times the 11, I get 110 plus the 5. So 115 tenths now. And I'm going to multiply that by it's 13 times 10 is 130 plus 5. 135 over 10. Okay, now I'm going to multiply straight across. What's 10 times 10? Oh, that would be 100. And then let me do my 135, my 115 times 135. Put 2 up there, I get a 7, I get a 5, placeholder. There's 15, there's 4, there's 3, 2 placeholders because now I'm over at the 1. 5, 1, 1, 12, I've got 10 and 5, 15, 3, 4, 5, 1. So I'm going to put that 15,525 is what goes on top. But then again, these two tell me to have that decimal point bump over 2 places. So my final answer is, let me see, bump over 2, 155 and 25 hundredths. They said round to the nearest penny. I don't need to. So, and you know what? My estimate was 168, so that's pretty darn close. So let's go to the note we're doing. It says record notes from the discussion in the box below. We don't need that right now. Now it says calculate the product for, I think, should we do a rounding first just to see 324? So that's going to be 325 and 54 and 82. And that's what I would be multiplying as my estimate, just to double check. But otherwise, let's see what we get. 324, 56 hundredths, and 54 and 82 hundredths. We got a lot of multiplying to do, don't we? So there's 12, carry the 1, 11, 9, 4, and 6. Put the 0 down, I'm done with that. Then I have 8, carry the 4, there's 44, there's 36, the 3, there's 16, 19, so that's 25. The important thing for me is to line up my zeros. 4 times 6 is 24, carry the 2, 22, 22, there's 12 and 16. Look at all those numbers. Then I have to remember how many digits were behind the decimal. Okay, now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 placeholders, 5 times 6 is 30. 25 and 3 is 8. Carry the 2. 22, 12, 16. Okay. Wow. Got to add that up. So 2, 8, 9. There's 8. There's 17. There's 10 and 13. And there is, let's see, here's a 10 and there's a 10. So 26. Carry the 2. 5 and 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. So 11. 6 and 4 is 10 and 1 is 11. 6, 7, 8. Wow, look at all that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 behind the decimal. So I start here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put in my decimal. So I have a final answer. And I may need to double check my work. But calculating, I have, and then I need to have my so 18,116 and 3,792 thousandths. Okay, that could be right, and it could be off. 32456 5482. I'm going to check my estimate just to see how close I am. So with my estimate, I had 325 times 55. So my estimate is 17,875. So it looks like I'm a bit over. So I'm going to just double check. If I had 324 and 56 and I times that by 2, my first line should be 64912. Got it. Then what about 32456 times 80? So 259648. So that checks out, that checks out. How about 32456 times, now I'm multiplying by 4. I get 1, 2. So this one might be a little, let me just double check. 324 times 4, 8, 2. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit off in my math. I should be a little bit closer to this estimate. So that means that I need to go in and I need to figure out where in the world did I stray. So let me rewrite. We have 324, 56, 56 hundredths. And I have 54 and 82 hundredths. So let's see what I did not do right. So that was a 12, 11, 9, 4, 6. So that part checks off. That part was okay. Then I have a placeholder. Then I have 8, carry the 4, 44. That's 6, 3, and that's 19. That's 25. I think that part's okay too. 2596480. But then I have this 4, so I had to put 2 placeholders down. 4 times 6 is 24. Carry the 2, 22, 18, 9, and then 12. That one is a little bit off. So I must have done something weird. Yeah, maybe I did something twice with that 5. Okay, so then let me check 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go 0, 3, 8, 2, 22, 12, 16. Well, that one, so maybe I just had one line that was off. So 2, 9, that's 17, 10, 11, 12, 13. There we have, there's a 10, there's a 16, so 26, 32. There we have it's 10, 19, 2, 4, 6, 7, 6, 7, and 1. How does that sound? 1, 7, 7, 9, 2, 3, 7, 9, 2. I think this part's not so good. This part's better. And then I have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 behind the decimal. So don't forget to put that decimal in. And then I have to put in a comma. So that's my final answer. I just had to go at it a couple times because I totally made a mistake on that line because it was not close enough to my estimate. Here we have Kevin spends $11.25 on lunch every week during the school year. If there are 35.5 or 35 and 5/10 weeks during the school year, how much does Kevin spend on lunch over the entire year? Remember to round, of course, to the nearest penny. So I've got 11 and 25 hundredths, and I'm multiplying that by the 35 and 5/10. And what does that get me? Well, let's see. 11, 25 hundredths, 35 and 5/10. Let's see. There's 5, 2, 12, 6, 5. Done with that. Placeholder. 5, 2, 12, 6. Let me just get 5, 2, 12, 6, and 5. Done with that. 2 placeholders. There's 15, 7, 3, and 3. 5, and then I've got 7, 8, 13, 12, so that's 19, 9, and 3. Okay, and I have how many behind? 1, 2, 3 behind the decimal. 1, 2, 3. So my final answer is $399. And then it says round to the nearest penny. So that 5 is going to make that 7 and 8. So the 3 and the 8. So I get, with my $, lunch for the year is costing $399.38 for the whole year. That's what I would write in a complete sentence. Let's look at the next problem. Gunner's car gets 22 and 4/10 miles for every gallon, and his tank holds 17, almost 18 gallons, 17 and 82 hundredths. How many miles can Gunner travel if he uses all the gas in his tank? So we've got how many miles he can go per gallon, and then it holds this much, right? So we're going to calculate that out. And so I think I'll put 17 and 82 hundredths on top, and then I've got my 22 and 4/10 below. So there's an 8, there's a 2, carry my 3, 28, 31, there's a 7. So I'm done with that, put my 0 down. There's a 4, there's a 16, 15, 3, done with that, put 2 zeros down. Then I've got a 4, a 16, a 15, and a 3. Let's see if I did that right. And I'm going to add this up. 8, 6, 11. There is, let's go, there's a 12, and 7 is going to be 19. There's 9 and 3. Okay. And I have 1, 2, 3 behind the decimal. So it looks like I have how many miles? He can travel 399 miles. Do I have to round? It didn't say anything about a rounding, so I guess not. And 168 thousandths miles for that whole tank of gas. Okay, that's pretty decent. I'm trying to think how far you could get. I think you could get to Pullman, perhaps, which is across the state of Washington. Okay, the principal of East High School wants to buy a new cover for the sand pit. Okay, so they must have a track using the long jump competition. Yeah, he measured the sand pit and found that the length is 29 and 2/10 feet. The width is 9 and 8/10 feet. What will the area? Oh my gosh, this is a length times width. As soon as I read that area, so what they've just told me is that we have 29 and 2/10 and then the width is 9 8/10. So we're going to multiply those two. 29.2 times 9.8, 1673. There's 23. Put a 0 down, placeholder. 18 to 8. So I've got 18 plus 8 is 26. So 6, 11, 6, 8, 2, and I'm going to have a placeholder of 2. So let's see if we get 286 16/100 of a foot is the total. Oh, but for area, don't forget that you've got to make it squared, or you can also write the word squared. So, or you could also say square feet. You could also throw that in. Okay, so we're looking good on this. I think we just want to make sure that we are able to calculate the sum of those decimal digits in the factors and the answers in the product. And you will be ready to do your problem set. And then after looking at your homework helper, you can do your exit ticket. So very good job.